Oh my goodness. What in the world is going on in the Pac-12 conference, guys? What a day. What a day. Woo, man. Uh, Testing one. Testing my microphone live on camera here. Testing one. That ain't right. I need this one. Testing one. There we go. Now, what in the world's going on in the Pac-12? I've been trying my best to keep up with what's going on today as I've been traveling, as I've been dealing with crap at my house. My heat pump had to get fixed. All kinds of stuff going on. Had to work today, obviously. Was on the road. As you can see, I'm in a hotel room. So the Pac-12 apparently, according to some people, especially those out in Pac-12 country, have agreed to a grant of rights. But maybe they haven't agreed to a grant of rights. I mean, it's crazy, man. I don't even know where to start here. It's so chaotic. But yeah, Mike, they do suck, man. They do suck. Guys, real quick before we get started, as you come into the chat, please hit the like button. If you're watching this on the replay, hit the like button. It still helps. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. If you like Pac-12 content, the Pac-12 chaos content. If you like Big 12 content, West Virginia content, I'm a West Virginia fan. For those of you who may not know, this is a channel for you. I appreciate all the support. And if you want to make sure your comment gets seen, you can hit the $sign down at the bottom where it says say something. Post your comment. It'll highlight it for me, and your comment will get precedent over all the others. I'm expecting a busy chat tonight, so I'll try to get to as many as I can. But if it's highlighted, if you donate and it gets highlighted, then I'm more likely to see it. So anyway, let's get on with the show. All right, let's get started. The first thing that I want to talk about is this tweet, which led to an article by Mr. John Canzano, our favorite Pac-12 reporter, right? John Canzano. Let's pull up his tweet real quick and talk about it. There's a lot of tweets to talk about tonight. A lot of activity. Well, here's Canzano. It says, Pac-12 members have agreed on a grant of rights. Next steps outlined here. Of course, this article is behind a paywall. But in a nutshell, it's this. Pac-12's grant of rights includes incentivized revenue sharing on the college football playoff shares per a source. NCAA tournament shares would still be distributed equally. A lot more here on the Pac-12's grant of rights and what comes next. And we'd all heard last night that Washington State has a board meeting plan to vote on their grant of rights, or at least talk about it. That was kind of a big story last night, and then this dropped today. Well, then, so that made news, right? John Canzano saying the Pac-12's agreed to the grant of rights. They're all ready to sign, yada, yada, yada. So it's got everybody talking. Does that mean they have a media deal coming, right? Then you got Canzano putting this tweet out just 3 hours before I started here. Over the last few months, which is a quote, a member of the Pac-12 CEO group told me, we have negotiated all of these issues and the grant of rights is ready to go. Pac-12 members are aligned on grant of rights, need a satisfactory media rights deal to sign. Okay, they've agreed on a grant of rights. A grant of rights, John, as I'm sure he knows, is tied to the media deal, man. A grant of rights is absolutely 100% worthless unless there's a media deal tied to it. And by all accounts, that has not happened yet. My sources are telling me the Pac-12 doesn't have a deal, period. Then you have this strange interview that Paul Feinbaum did today with it's just funny. I can't stop laughing. Paul Feinbaum did an interview today with the president of Arizona. Now let's pull that up. This is going to be good, folks. I'm telling you. This is going to be a treat tonight. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to go ahead and share my whole screen. That way I don't have to keep going back and forth here. But anyway, John, let's pull up Ross Dellinger here. Ross Dellinger tweeting out this conversation that Robert Robbins, the president of Arizona, was having today. Arizona President Robert Robbins, meeting with the media in D.C., says he's unaware of any agreement among Pac-12 schools in a grant of rights, and there won't be until we see a deal. We have not seen a deal. So you mean to tell me that based on this report by John Canzano that the Pac-12 has agreed on a grant of rights, but are you telling me they left Robert Robbins out? I mean, really? You mean to tell me Robert Robbins, the president of one of the universities inside the conference, wouldn't know about it if that was actually happening? So who's lying? John Canzano or Robert Robbins? More tweets from Dellinger. Robbins on Pac-12. My prediction is we're all going to stay together. That's what they've been saying all along, folks. Of course, that's what they're going to say. They have to say that until they either get a deal done or they leave the conference. That's how it works. Next tweet. Robbins says a Big 12, ACC, and Pac-12 merger was never seriously discussed, but that would have been cool, but it was complicated. He says a Pac-12, ACC scheduling alliance remains in the discussion. So it's just a scheduling alliance, not a full-blown merger, so that's not really huge news, really. Another tweet by Dellinger. Arizona President Robert Robbins said he hasn't spoken to Brett Yormark recently. And when asked about him, Robbins says he's aggressive. He has big plans for the Big 12. I wish him well. All 10 of us are focused on the deal. Robbins on Pac-12 TV situation. Everybody remembers the line from Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. What else needs to be said? The Pac-12 presidents have yet to see a deal. 13 months out from their deal expiring, they don't have one, folks. And one has not been presented, apparently. I would have thought there would have been. I think I said on a show earlier, they probably have an idea, and maybe they do have an idea what's out there. I'm sure they've had some discussions about it, but they've not seen hardcore evidence. They've not seen something on paper that is a deal. They don't have anything on their desk in front of them that they can look over, analyze, and sign. Let's keep going. Robbins on TV deal. We're not going to get a Big Ten deal. We're not going to get an SEC deal. But if we finish third in this sweepstakes, I've never thought that winning the bronze medal was a great aspirational goal. But if we win a bronze medal, I think we'd all declare victory. Would Arizona be interested in moving conferences? Arizona President Robert Robbins says, depends on what our financial deal is. There again, Arizona's willing to move, according to him, if they don't have the right kind of deal. Now, is he just using that as leverage, or would he really leave? For weeks now, Pac-12 schools have verbally agreed to a grant of rights with a merit-based revenue-sharing model. The key word here is verbally. Verbal can become signature binding with, you'll never guess, a satisfactory media rights deal. And he's obviously quote tweeting the Canzano tweet. So, I mean, it is just absolutely it's mind-boggling, to be honest with you. Mind-boggling. Then you've got Dennis Dodd coming out tonight with a tweet about an hour ago. I'm sorry, 2 hours ago from me getting on here. All that being said, the typical protocol is conference has a deal, and the last piece is a formality, signing of the grant of rights. You don't agree to do a grant of rights without knowing absolutely what you're going to get and agreeing to it. How can they agree to a deal when there's no deal? I mean, this stuff coming out of Pac-12 country is mind-boggling, man. Oh, geez. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Oh, and here's more from Dodd. Arizona President Robbins told CBS Sports he has not been informed of finalization of grant of rights or agreement to share media rights. There it is, folks. I'm going to read that again. Arizona President Robert Robbins told CBS Sports he has not been informed of finalization of a grant of rights or agreement to share media rights. I absolutely know nothing about this information, but hopefully I will learn the facts soon. Asked if decisions could be made without his consent, he said no. Now, there was another piece. Not much has changed. More from Dodd. Not much has changed. Pac-12 believes it has a significant enough linear streaming package in the works. No one in the industry, however, seems to know what it is. PAC members just waiting on money. Show me the money. It's what it all comes down to, folks. It all comes down to the money, and no one has shown the money. And there was one piece, and maybe Pete Thamel talks about it in his article, but Robbins talks about how Arizona and Arizona State are not tied at the hip. But they do want, he says they are, he and President Crow are close. They have a good relationship, and they would want to stay together, but they don't have to stay together. He said that. The president of Arizona made that statement today. I'm not sure if it's in any of these screen shares I have. Pete Thamel, my prediction is that, Robbins again, my prediction is that we're all going to stay together as a Pac-12. There's 10 of us right now. I'm hopeful that the deal is going to be good enough to keep us together. He's hopeful, but is not certain. That's the key word there. I think that's the best thing for our students and alumni. That's what we're hoping for. And yes, I agree with that. That's what I've been saying for weeks, for months. All the Pac-12 members want to stay together, but it's the key word there is want to. They can't do it if it doesn't make financial sense, folks. Here it is. Robbins on the ties between Arizona and Arizona State in a realignment scenario. Here's the quote I was talking about. We don't have to do the same thing, but President Crow and I are very, very tight. I think it'd be unlikely that we'd be split up. Right now, with 10 schools, we control a very nice 20% of solidarity. He adds that he does have the autonomy to move without Arizona State. Robbins on a timeline for the Pac-12 deal. We'll be there when we get there. I really think it's going to be soon. I'm not anxious about this. I know it's important. I have full confidence we're going to get where we need to be. He said he's cautiously optimistic. He stresses that the Pac-12 presidents haven't seen numbers yet. Hasn't seen numbers yet, but yet they're going to sign a grant of rights. Give me a break, John Canzano. So they haven't seen the numbers yet on the upcoming TV deal. It says, until we see a working document that gives us numbers, that's what we don't have. Until we have it, no one can make an informed decision. An informed decision about what, you might ask? Whether to sign a grant of rights and whether to stay in the Pac-12. He added, I've seen forecasts and projections. I do. There's the key. I said that earlier. They've probably seen forecasts and projections. I do think there's good data on what the Pac-12 is valued at. I've seen those numbers. If we get close to those numbers, I think we'll be fine. Big if. He adds, we're not going to get a Big Ten deal or an SEC deal if you win a bronze medal. I've already talked about that. So there you have it, folks. That's what's going on today in the world of college football realignment talk and the world of the Pac-12 clown show. That's what it is. It's turned into a clown show. Holy, as my friend Greg Pflugar would say, holy smokes. And look, I know I'm going to, people like, there are people on Twitter that aren't going to like me for saying this and calling it a clown show. I know it looks like I'm throwing, grease on the fire, and maybe I am a little bit, or adding fuel to the fire, I should say. But look, man, the Pac-12 has done this to themselves. They were under poor leadership under Larry Scott. Their presidents allowed Larry Scott to do all this stupid stuff and made these awful decisions. Oh, and let's not even forget the whole Comcast thing. We've got to talk about the Comcast thing. Bear with me a second. I got to find this. I would be remiss if we didn't touch on the Comcast thing. News that came out about that. I mean, this is just unreal. Here it is. Oh, that's from the Mercury News. I can't pull that up because I don't have the Mercury News. But anyway, basically, I know what it said. Reports are now coming out that the Pac-12, the number that we all know about the Comcast overpayment. Comcast overpaid the Pac-12 for the Pac-12 network. We thought it was in the amount of about $50 million. Well, now reports have come out. They say it's over $70 million, folks. It comes out to like 3-something million that's coming off the Pac-12's revenue this year. And will be another couple million that'll come off next year. You're talking about $5 to $6 million in revenue loss per school over this Comcast overpayment mess. And they can't afford it. They absolutely can't afford it. It's just, guys, I'm telling you, I just don't. It can't get much worse. Now, could the Pac-12 pull this thing together and end up making a deal and keeping this thing from falling apart? They could. They absolutely could. But I'm just telling you, it just continues to look worse. At the very least, it's an absolute PR nightmare for the Pac-12. At the very least. Now, I saw a comment here by one of my channel members, Mr. Outlaw of College Football. Oh, you didn't even tell me you was going live. No, I didn't know, buddy. I actually made this decision literally about 15 minutes before I jumped on here. But I thank you for hopping in. I wasn't going to do a live tonight, to be honest. I'm tired a little bit today. I didn't get into my hotel until like 8:30, a little after 8:30 actually. But I said, you know what, man? My audience wants to hear my thoughts on this, I'm assuming, so let's talk about it. Big Dan T, another channel member. I'm just happy this is not going on in the Big 12. I don't want drama. Man, it's for the first time in how long? It's not the Big 12 in the drama. You know? It's about time, right? What a tangled web the Pac weaves. You got that right. Mike Smith. See who else is in here, guys. Remember, I've got 61 people in here right now. A lot of comments. If you want to make sure I see your comment, you can send me a super chat. It's a one-time donation, and the comment where it says $, where it says say something, it will highlight your comment, and we'll be sure to get read on here. I need a haircut. I do need a haircut. Actually, you know what? I cut my hair last night, Outlaw. Cut it last night. Let's see what our good friend Sergeant Pickles has to say. He's a Pac-12 guy, but he always shoots it straight. He says, Couz's Corner, to me, this is all media making a big deal over nothing, and bashing the Pac gets clicks. It does get clicks, but Canzano come out. I don't know that I agree with you, Sergeant Pickles. I respect your opinion. And yes, it does get clicks. I can't argue that. But here's the thing. Canzano puts this thing out about the deal. If that was true, then why would Arizona's president say he didn't know anything about it? You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty big deal to me. And it's the media's job to report this stuff. And that's what they did. And if you guys had a chance to watch Josh Neighbors, who's now part of the 365 Sports Network, he has a show on their Crystal Ball College Football channel called Neighborhood Watch. He does once a day. I watched this episode today, or listened to it, actually. I was listening as I was driving, but it was really good. Josh really went into, Josh has worked in the media for several years now. He's worked for the Sirius XM. He did the Locked On show. He's done some other things. And through that, he's learned kind of who he can trust in the media and who he can't, And he talked about people like Dennis Dodd, Ross Dellinger, Max Olson, these people that are trustworthy. He trusts them, and they're reporting through his experience. And yes, I know he's a Big 12 guy, but he's also very level-headed, and he's honest, and he is a media guy, so he's not going to. There's some integrity that he has about what he says, what he does, and the way he goes about things. He's not going to just throw stuff out and see what sticks like some people do. He's actually going to tell you. Now, he will tie his opinion in there and tell you what he thinks, but he also is going to give you the facts and what's being reported. He's not, and like he said, he's not a newsbreaker, but he's a news reporter. And he thinks that people like Ross Dellinger, Dennis Dodd can be he even mentioned John Wilner. He said he likes Wilner's work, but Wilner is coming at it from a Pac-12 angle. So I recommend you guys go listen to that. It was a really good show today. And remember, thanks for reminding me, Daniel Mountcastle. The Colorado has a meeting on Friday, a 30-minute public, I think it's public, board meeting about something. I haven't had a chance to look online today to see if the agenda has been posted yet. If it had, I don't think it has. I'll be interested to see what the agenda says. I'm sure they'll be as vague as possible, like they always are. Sergeant Pickle says, I include Canzano in media pushing for clicks. Arizona president, I think, had an issue with people saying grant of rights have been actually signed. That's possible. I could see that. But I don't know. Did anybody say it was actually signed or they had just agreed verbally? What I saw said they had verbally agreed. Outlaw says, we're all trying to get clicks. Let's not get all self-righteous, Sergeant Pickles. Now, he knows that. Sergeant Pickles is a good guy. He's not one of those elitists like some in Pac-12 country are. I think I saw a super chat come in. Yeah, Preston Boundary Show. Thanks, man. He says, do you think UCLA and USC could make the entire conference merge with Big Ten as part of those schools' buyout? No, because I don't think the Big Ten wants them all. I don't think the networks that, well, several things here. Number one, the networks, NBC, CBS, Fox. I don't think they are going to want all the Pac-12 schools because they're not going to bring that much value from a TV perspective. They've got what they want. Now, they would probably want to add Oregon and Washington, but I don't think they want Oregon State. No offense to them, but I don't think they want Oregon State, Washington. They probably don't even want Arizona and Colorado, to be frank, at least not in the Big Ten. But and also the Pac-12, or I'm sorry, the Big Ten is probably not going to want all the Pac-12 schools because of their AAU, whatever. They say it's not a requirement, but let's be real. They want you to be AAU, whether we like it or not, which is hogwash in my opinion. Outlaw College Football did a really good show on that. This AAU thing is becoming a farce. It's a joke to me. When you can put a team in like Notre Dame who does only $240 million worth of research, and it's my understanding they don't even have a medical school, which is also something they look at. But yet you got schools like Virginia Tech, NC State, UCF. There's a bunch of others that don't get in when they do $500-600 million in research. It's all political, man. It's to me, AAU has become watered down. It's all about the popularity club. It's the haves and the have-nots. And it's not even logical anymore. So I don't think. So two reasons. I don't think the networks would want it to happen, and I don't think the Big Ten itself would want all of those schools. Would they take Stanford? Probably. Would they take Cal? Probably. But I don't know that the networks would want Stanford and Cal because they wouldn't move the needle from a TV standpoint. The only other two that really would move it enough, in my opinion, for the Big Ten would be Oregon and Washington. And I think we will eventually see them in the Big Ten. So I really appreciate that super chat, Preston Ballinger, man. Thanks for the support. Any of you other guys want to comment, Red, make sure I see it. Throw me a super chat. I would really appreciate it. Support the show here. It's an easy way to support me and kind of let me know that you appreciate what I'm doing here. And I really appreciate you guys just for tuning in here. I really appreciate it. If you want to support me free, you can also always hit the like button, guys. That's free, easy, quick. And it helps the YouTube algorithm, helps get this out to more people, even for people who may come and watch it after the live's over on the replay. That helps there as well. Outlaw College Football channel member, also generous enough to leave me a $5 super chat. He says, the Pac-12 is about to become the Mountain West with a Pac-12 mask. Great analogy. All it will take is Colorado leaving and Oregon, Washington, Arizona State, Arizona, and Utah will follow. Very possible. That's a lot of people seem to think that if and when the Colorado move happens, which I think it will, that's just the first domino, and a lot of these teams probably don't want to be the first to move, and Colorado might be willing to do that, which makes sense because they were in the Big 12 before. So, maybe they're willing to do that, to go back, quote unquote, home. BU at Big 12 with Patrick says there is a limit to actual additive when you are already so expensive. That's kind of what I was trying to get to, Patrick. You said it much better than I could have. I have a hard time being that concise sometimes, but yeah, you said it very well. The Big Ten's worth what? Almost $100 million per school. There's not a lot of schools out there that bring that kind of value. Sergeant Pickles, again, I'd like to hear his take from the Pac-12 standpoint. I want to get the Pac-12 spin here as well. There are only 2 real deadlines for the PAC. The big one is 2024, but other than that, June 30th for SDSU. That's big. Other than that, no reason for CU or Arizona to leave before a deal is presented. Not really, unless they just see the writing on the wall and realize it's, they got to cut bait. Browns and Beers, thank you, man, for joining. I really appreciate the support. Browns and Beers has become a channel member here on Couz's Corner. Very, very much appreciated. Browns and Beers, if you want to shoot me your email me at couz.walker@gmail.com. Email me your home address, and I will ship you a Couz's Corner drink koozie. Okay? All channel members get a drink koozie. And if you're a Mountaineer Maniac level member, which is the second level, I'm not sure which one you are. I have to go look. But first level members get a koozie. If you're Mountaineer Maniac level, you get a koozie and a sticker with it. So, now I do think this Colorado meeting Friday has something to do with leaving the league. And hey, if this report by Canzano is accurate, they could be meeting to sign the grant of rights, or at least to discuss the grant of rights. Who knows? But I personally think they're going to talk about leaving the league. I don't necessarily know that it'll be announced Friday, but it could. Who knows? We'll see. We will see. So let's see here. I'm going to. Oh, I agree that Boise State's football. We're talking about Boise State now. I'd rather see. Oh, Spitfire says I'd rather see Boise State to join the Big 12 instead of Arizona and Colorado, who have lousy football. Hey, I've been an advocate for Boise State in the league, but I haven't dug real deep into this. But from what I've heard from some, Boise State may not have enough sports, like the non-revenue sports, to be in a Power 5 conference. Maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And of course, their academics are really, really, as far as rankings go, and I'm not trying to sound elitist here, but that does matter to a degree. And Boise State's academics are like one of the worst out there. Now they're improving, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact they were FCS at one time, and then they became, so they're still, Boise State is still, moving up the ladder, so to speak. They have kind of been punching above their weight class for a really long time, to be honest with you, and competing with the big boys when they really weren't a big boy. And because of that, I think they would be a good addition as far as on the field. And wouldn't mind having them in the league, to be honest. I just don't know if they fit a lot of the criteria that presidents and chancellors and people like that look at. Scotty B says, Spitfire, let's be clear, Big 12 doesn't need any more G5 schools. They need to be additive and not dilutive. Yeah, that's the one thing. I've been all about adding UConn if they bring value. But man, I don't really want my school to have to pay any more money out of pocket to bring another school in. So yeah, I don't know, man. Be interesting to see. Basketball is where it's at. Gonzaga is a slam dunk. I have mixed feelings on that, man. I just don't know. I understand Brett Yormark's vision, and I understand what he's trying to do there with basketball. I just don't know if there's enough money in it, man. I really don't. Maybe he sees something I don't. I mean, he's obviously much smarter than I am, but and knows what's going on behind the scenes, and I don't. But I just don't know if there's enough money in basketball to kind of, quote unquote, put all your eggs in that basket. But we'll see. PAC slogan, it just means less. It's funny. I like it. Outlaw College Football says a source told me that Colorado may be meeting to request that the Pac-12 adds either Colorado State or Air Force per request from the Colorado legislature. Colorado may be meeting to request that the PAC adds either Colorado State or Air Force. Interesting. That's an interesting little nugget there, Outlaw College Football. But wouldn't that take longer than 30 minutes? It's only a 30-minute meeting. Bill Vance says it may be nearing the end, that the PAC may be nearing the end. We'll see. David Hackett says Brett Yormark wants Pacific time zone. Oregon State fits that as the Gonzaga doesn't have football. Scotty B makes a great point. Gonzaga could lose their head coach for men's basketball eventually, so their program could go down. And if that happens, then their value goes down because that's really all they have is from an athletic standpoint. They do have other sports, I get that, but as far as revenue goes, that's the only revenue sport they have because they don't have football. And if you add them for basketball and then their coach leaves, who's been, really the one who put them on the map, what happens then? Secret Agent says, I think adding UConn would be a good idea. Football makes it iffy, but otherwise. Yep, I agree. It'd be good for West Virginia to give us another opponent in the East. Dustin says that is interesting. Colorado wants another Colorado team in the conference. That is interesting. Browns and Beers, new channel member, says we maybe need to look at adding Zaga and UConn more seriously when we are signing the next media deal. Sergeant Pickles, Secret Agent ACC isn't going anywhere, or it would have happened. Also, Big 12 taking hoop schools instead of CU doesn't add up. Yeah. I get UConn is appealing, but hoops just doesn't pay the bills. They wouldn't justify a full share. Yeah. But they do have a football team, Sergeant Pickles. And I know they're not very good, but let's think about this for a minute. How long was Kansas bad in football? A decade or more? So 2 decades, I don't know, years, long time. And they were still considered a valuable member of the Big 12. So just because UConn's football team is bad, to me, does not make them a bad addition to the conference. You know what I'm saying? If the school's willing to spend the money and invest in football to improve the program, to try to bring it up to a Power 5 level, if they're willing to do that and commit to that, then I have no issue with it. If they're not, then I would definitely reconsider that. John says UConn doesn't care about football, and that could be true. That could be true. Now, Josh Neighbors that I mentioned, he actually did an interview with, I think, a member of the UConn media. I have not had a chance to listen to that yet. I was trying to listen last night at home while I was multitasking, and just couldn't. I just wasn't able to digest it, so I wanted to do it again. Listen later. But kind of based on the comments I was looking at under the video, it appears that UConn doesn't seem real interested in joining the Big 12, but I could be wrong. Look at West Virginia football then. Yeah. But we've been a good member of the Big 12, though. We've just been down the last couple of years. And we're not Kansas, man. We're still Kansas was winning like 1-2 games a year. We haven't been that bad. Even a bad Kansas team significantly outdraws UConn football wise. Okay, and that's fair. That's fair. You're probably right. But if they were in a power conference, would fans be more interested? That's the thing. You got to realize that being in a power conference automatically makes you a little bit more a bigger draw, so to speak, in my opinion. Outlaw college football. Actually, didn't UConn go to a bowl this past year? UConn was a power once in 1AA. Yes, they were, and they did go to a bowl, and they actually played in a BCS bowl. I know at least one time because we were in the Big East with them. West Virginia was, and they won the conference one year and went to a BCS bowl game. I think they ended up getting beat pretty badly, but they did. And in the year, we all remember the 2007 season when West Virginia lost to Pitt. I know John Waffle's on here. I hate to talk about this with him on here. I'm sure he'll say something. But before the Pitt game, West Virginia played UConn, and UConn was ranked really high that year. They had a really high ranking. I think they were top 10, top 15 team in the country, top 20, something like that. But nonetheless, West Virginia beat them really badly because West Virginia played basically the game of their life that night. But UConn was ranked, and they had one of the top defenses in the country that year under Randy Edsall. So UConn has been good at football. It's not like they're, a new program or, they've had a few down years because they changed conferences and had some struggles. They're in the red financially, so they're struggling there. And but who's to say they can't be good again? I understand the concerns about travel, but hey, that's the world we live in, unfortunately. Trust your leader, Brett Yormark. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I wonder if he's being too aggressive, maybe, but I do like the fact that he's thinking outside the box. UConn has Coach Mora, and if P5 revenue would do fine, I think so too, Patrick. I really do. Any school would draw more coming to a P5. My point is that taking a UConn now instead of waiting for CU Arizona makes no sense. No, I'm not saying I want them over Colorado or Arizona. I'm not saying that at all. And I don't even know that UConn would get a full share if they came in, but I mean, they're only making $3.8 million from the basketball revenue in the Big East. I'm sure they might make a little bit of revenue in football. I'm not sure as an independent, but I mean, even if they made $15 million or $18 million or whatever, they're still making a lot more than they're making now. But I would still rather have Arizona and Colorado, no doubt, because they're Power 5 teams. They've already got the facilities, they've already got the stadiums, they've already got the fan bases. They're there. They could potentially compete from the jump. So yeah, I definitely think Arizona and Colorado are the two best fits initially, but I think UConn should be given consideration. Absolutely. Outlaw says, exactly. Meanwhile, Gonzaga is not even putting forth the effort. Hell, Villanova or Georgetown would be better ads. At least they have FCS football, right? Yes. Great point, Outlaw. They do have FCS football. For your market's geographic market, that's correct. But I did hear that guy on the UConn guy on Josh's show say that it's a little bit. I don't know if naive was the word he used, but that UConn doesn't pull in the New York market the way people might think. Memphis instead of UConn, that's a consideration too that a lot of people aren't talking about. Definitely. Let's do it. I'll tell you what, guys. Let's do this. I'm going to post the link to this in the chat. And if you want to come on here, Outlaw, I'm inviting you first, my friend. If you want to join me, come on, man. Come on, Cletus. Come on. And guys, I'm going to do this like a call-in show, which means if I bring you on. Now, Outlaw, I'm inviting him on as a guest, so he's a little different. He and I we've done podcasts together. He has his own show. But as far as the call-ins go, and he's a channel member too. So channel members will get first dibs, and I think that's fair. They pay a monthly fee. But back to what I was saying. By the way, Hero, I'll get to your super chat in just a second too, my friend. But if I bring you on as a call-in, hang out for make your comment, maybe a couple of comments, and then jump off and let somebody else come on if you don't mind. Super chat by Hero75, $5. Thank you for the support, man. I really appreciate it. It says, the question is, does the Big Ten make their move if only Colorado jumps, or do they wait until Arizona or others jump? Only the Big Ten can kill Pac-12. Great point. I don't think they do anything unless the Pac loses at least two teams. Nobody's told me that. That's just my complete gut feeling. Like I said, don't have any sources telling me that. Just a hunch. But there's the link, guys, right here at the bottom. For any of you that may want to hop on and do a quick, like I said, we'll treat it like a call in. Come on here, make a comment, and then I'll let somebody else have the floor. That's how I'd like to do this, if you guys don't mind. Had some comments before that I let guests hang on here too long, so I'm going to try to honor that and see if it's a better product. We'll see. Shane is getting close. What's up, Larry Pilgrim? How you doing, my man? Thanks for hopping on here. Everybody, please, I'm going to remind you to please hit the like button. That really helps. It's totally free. Only takes a second. You may, if you're watching on your mobile device, you might have to hit the X and minimize the screen for a minute, or close out the. You might have to close out the live chat. Go out, hit the like button, and then open the live chat back up. That's normally how you have to do it on a mobile device. If you're watching on your computer, I think you can do them both simultaneously, but I'm not 100% sure. Once again, thanks for all the super chats. If you want to make sure your comment gets read, drop me a super chat. Make it a one-time donation, and your chat will get highlighted, and I'll see it, or be more likely to see it. Outlaw, I posted it in the chat, man. Hold on. Hold on, Larry. I'll get to you in a second. Let me send this to Outlaw of College Football real quick. He was I invited him on because he's my buddy. We do shows together. He's a channel member as well. Here you go, Outlaw. It's coming to you, my friend. It's coming to you. It's coming to you. Be on the lookout. It should be there. Larry Pilgrim. Larry, I'm gonna let you have the floor, man. Give you a few minutes, and then I want to let somebody else come on. How you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, just trying to get through this whole realignment crap, man. It'd be nice if it'd stabilize.
Yeah, Larry, and that Outlaw made it on. What's up, Outlaw College Football?
How's it going, brother?
Good. Larry, real quick, what are your thoughts on what happened today, man? All the tweets, it was just chaotic today. What are your thoughts on all that?
My thoughts are the same thing that, so I think Kurtz, or not Kurtz, but Schultz. I think Schultz was the mouthpiece for Canzano. And let's be honest, if you're a reporter and you have a school's president, university, give you some information, you're going to put that out there. So I don't think that one's so much Canzano.
Okay.
That's my opinion. And that's like he said,
yeah,
I believe it's been known for a while. So
what I don't understand, if it was known, why did Arizona's president not know about it?
He knew about it. That's what's fishy to me. That's what's real fishy to me. He's known a bunch of stuff. That one made me think, if I'm looking at this from a neutral point, that seems like he would say that because he wouldn't want to piss off Brett Yormark. Like maybe he's in line with Brett Yormark and he's just, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because there's no way he didn't know. Utah's the liaison for the Four Corner schools for the media deal, keeping them informed, and they're pretty good about that. That guy's full of poop. I don't. Yeah, there's something fishy going on. I think Arizona might be out the door just by what he said, if you ask me. Because
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. That guy, if that guy don't know what the hell's going on, somebody needs to get somebody else in there.
Okay.
Because how the hell would Washington State know about this? Have the damn form. It was online yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, and this guy don't know shit. Come on.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a Pac-12, so you never know who knows what.
It's and Larry, you're probably not going to like my thumbnail. It's a picture of a clown, and the Pac-12 clown show.
You know what? You are a respectful, thoughtful, intellectual person. I don't mind that. It's the people that all they do is just insult and just never have any discussion. I don't like them. If you throw puns but are respectful, I don't care. That's just football.
Well, it's all in fun anyway, to be honest. I mean, I'm just picking a little bit of fun at the conference because you're
good. You're good.
we've had our share of people poke fun of us, and matter of fact, they still do. But
yeah.
So.
Yep. Okay, man.
Outlaw, what are your thoughts on what happened today?
Well, I mean, what exactly do you want thoughts on? I mean, a lot of stuff happened today, right?
Yeah, I mean, specifically, the comment about the report that came out that the Pac-12 has a grant of rights they've agreed to, and they're all supposedly in agreement on, even though they haven't seen a TV deal yet, which I find really suspicious. And then the fact that people like Arizona's president is coming out saying, "Well, I didn't know anything about this." What
I
are
think
you?
they've all known something at least for 2 or 3 months now. They're just not saying anything.
Okay.
That's basically what I think. I mean, they need to get it together though. I mean, because isn't there like a timetable for San Diego State and SMU to come on board so they don't get penalized?
June 30th.
And if Arizona didn't know this, just like Larry said, then obviously he's not doing his job, or he's just a blatant liar. You know.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability is kind of a weird one when it comes to what he came out and said. So,
yeah.
Great
point. So you think Canzano, Larry? So just to set the record straight, you think Canzano was more accurate, and Arizona's president is just trying to hide something?
Yeah, I think Schultz, because we all know Schultz, Washington State's in the worst position of all of them, and that guy he's been the one at the front, and I get it from his perspective. I get why he's doing it, but I think he's the one that put it out there, and yeah. So I think Canzano reported what information he got from Schultz. I don't feel like Canzano was wrong in this. I think he got it from Schultz, in my opinion. This is my opinion.
It wouldn't surprise me if Washington State or Oregon State tried to pull a Texas A&M and leak this stuff to try to, screw the deal up. Because we all know Texas A&M leaked that stuff to the Houston Chronicle, trying to screw up the Texas and Oklahoma part about leaving for the SEC. So, I mean, Washington State and Oregon State, they're in a pretty bad position. Just like he said, this conference dissolves, man. It's either going to become the Mountain West with a mask, or it's just going to be the Mountain West.
Yeah. All right. Well, Larry, if you don't mind, man, I'm gonna drop you off and let Shane, somebody else wanting to come in.
Yep. You're good, man. I appreciate you, Couz.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Appreciate all your support.
All right, brother.
What's going on, Shane?
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm good.
Well, I put in the comment, it's getting close. Close being, July. But once someone pulls up tent stakes, you're gonna see panic. Like Outlaw said, there's gonna be a lot of shade thrown in different directions. The Mountain West is not really a place I would want to land. But West Virginia was in this situation before, and I can empathize, and I'm sure you can too. But that's all I have for you today.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your input, man. I was wondering what you meant. It's close. I'm glad you clarified what you meant by "it's close" comment, because I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, there's so many. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's so many different sources reporting. I do think that Colorado is going to be the first. Arizona straddling the fence, playing the PC game, trying to wait and see what exactly if the Pac-12 is going to get any sort of offer. But it looks like it's a little too late. It might be musical chairs. I mean, we might have. We, being the Big 12, might have the pick of that's if we can get all four corner schools. But I've heard different things about Arizona State, whether they're coming or they're not. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are Arizona State is going to hold out as long as they possibly can. I think Michael Crow is one of the most loyal Big 12 guys out there, probably, and Pac-12 guys, sorry. Pac-12 guys out there, and he does not want to leave the conference unless he absolutely has to. And I think if Arizona leaves, he might follow them. But other than that, I don't think they'll move. I don't think, like I said, I think he's one that would definitely wait to see the deal before he makes a decision. I think there's a couple, Colorado, for example. I think Colorado might already be planning to leave without even seeing the deal. I don't know that any other school will do that. You know, just my opinion.
Well, I just can't see, you know, they're really leaning, as we called it in the Army, leaning forward in the foxhole. They're really, it seems like you said, I have the same feeling from what I'm hearing from all the sources, that sources just being YouTube and ESPN. And, but it seems like Colorado has their mindset. It's just when the announcement's coming. But that's
Right.
when I say it's close, that's what
Right.
I mean, it's coming from people that don't usually chime in. You know, they you know, from reporters that are very keep their cards close to their chest. So, but hey, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely,
Once
man.
again, love your show, love the channel, Outlaw. Love your input and your insight.
All right, brother.
Let's go Mountaineers.
Thank you, Shane. Thanks for coming on. Larry Pilgrim, thanks for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it, man. All right.
I think it's going to be ironic for all the snubbing and the noses being in the air as far as Stanford and California go, and in some degree even Utah, that if these teams end up having to, you know, join up with a bunch of Mountain West teams after they did all that snubbing of the nose kind of deal. Stanford and California might get left out.
Yeah. I'm going to address a few of these comments here, and I'll let you chime in on too if you want to. But Outlaw, you know who Jason Shear is, don't you?
Arizona guy?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy, Spitfire, the Dragon TV, Love and Positive Light. One of the longest YouTube names I've ever seen. But different. Pretty cool. Says Jason Shear reported things wrong since Board of Regents of Arizona schools are shared and they are tied to each other. I totally disagree with that. Number one, Arizona's president came out today and said they are not tied to each other. He said it out of his own mouth. He said they want to stay together and they probably will, but they're not required to. Number two,
I saw something about that today as well.
Yeah. So number two, UCLA and Cal also share the Board of Regents. One's leaving, one's not. So I don't think the Board of Regents cannot make the school do anything. All they can try, but they don't have the authority to.
Well, they can slap them on the hand and scold them a little bit and try to shame them, you know,
Right.
But just like, you know, they did Texas with TCU when that legislature or senator or Congress lady was like, well, y'all didn't beat TCU. Y'all can't beat TCU. What makes you think you're going to go to the SEC and win?
Yeah.
You don't remember seeing that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, she was in there trying to shame Texas.
Who was?
Some lady, I don't know if she was a Congress lady or senator or legislature or what, but anyway, they was having a meeting about Texas leaving for the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just, you know, inquiring about it and grilling them a little bit, trying to talk them into staying in the Big 12, basically is what they were doing. And she brought that up, you know, they was talking about there'd be more of a competitive thing for them to be in the SEC. And she's like, well, hell, you can't even beat TCU.
Yeah. Lord have mercy. Scotty King says Memphis loves the Big 12, wish the feeling was mutual. Hey, this is one Big 12 fan that would like to see Memphis in the league if the money was there to do it. And I'm just not sure that it is, because from what I'm hearing, the networks are not willing to pay for a group of 5 team, unfortunately.
The only thing Memphis has going for it is it's, you know, they got FedEx money. I think FedEx is real big in Memphis. And their football team is hit or miss. I mean, they're good some years and some years they're not.
Right. John Waffle, H2P. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat, man. He says, as an economic standpoint, KSU, which is Kansas State, and Iowa State, may be kicked out and replaced with the Four Corners. More revenue share. No, I don't think they would be. I think they would bring the Four Corners in because and keep Iowa State and Kansas State, because based on what I've read from Dennis Dodd and then also Barry Trammell, Fox and ESPN are both willing to pony up more money if they add Pac-12 schools. So they could bring in all 4 of the Four Corner schools. Now, this is based on what I've read. They could bring in all 4 of the Four Corner schools, and each one of those schools would get a full share from ESPN and Fox without having to, remove any teams from the league. So the pie could get bigger. They would increase the pie for any new teams. So none of the other teams would have to take a hit.
It may just be a no-brainer financially for the Four Corner schools that, hey, look, the only thing the Pac-12's got to offer us is Apple. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Big 12 they got ESPN and Fox and all these other networks that might give us a much bigger piece of the pie if we just go ahead and leave.
Right. But I mean, it's a fair question, John. Something I hadn't thought about. And plus, I think Kansas State especially they're one of the top right now. They're one of the top teams in the conference in both sports. So they're a very valuable member of the league, and they got a very passionate fan base too. And so does Iowa State, actually. Iowa State's fan base might be even more passionate than Kansas State's.
I've never been to Manhattan, Kansas, but a lot of people, I think that's what they sort of sneer at, the fact that they're in such a small market. That's where they try to get Kansas State. But
right,
Tuscaloosa's not that big either. So
yeah, Alan Walker, man, thanks for the $5 super chat. He says Washington State University President Schultz actually came up from Kansas State and stirred up trouble when he was there. I didn't know that, man. What kind of trouble did he stir up? I'd like, if you, in a separate comment, can you kind of elaborate on it? I'll be looking out for it. Shane, man, thank you for the super sticker, $4 super sticker. You guys are being very generous tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
Someone was talking about that the other day. They were talking about that, if 6 teams leave, if the Four Corner schools leave, and Oregon and Washington go to the Big Ten, it's the Pac-12 done. Do they go away? And I heard some guys say they probably wouldn't go away. They would just add a bunch of Mountain West teams and have that mask that I was telling you about.
Yeah. Shane, who was just on here, says, I remember her. He's talking about the story you were just telling about the Congresswoman. Yeah. He says, I remember her throwing shade at Texas. The Congresswoman was a TCU grad.
Exactly.
And I think y'all were talking about Tony Altimore, not Larry Altimore. I'm assuming, unless that's some kind of joke that I missed somewhere along the line. I happened to see that pop up in the chat. If you don't agree with someone, they throw insults. Sad, kind of. That is sad. I don't like to see people do that. Well, if someone insults me, I might throw one back to them, but I try not to do it.
Sometimes people think it's an insult when sometimes, especially with me, I am. I just like to needle people and poke them a little bit.
Right.
And sometimes people think that you're insulting them when all you're doing is really smack talking and joking around with them, and you just really can't see it through text. You can't see sarcasm and joking through text usually.
Right. Yeah, it's hard because you can't read body language.
It gets me in trouble a lot.
I can see that. Nathan Connect says Kansas State has been a Big 8 member since 1913. They aren't going anywhere. That don't necessarily mean anything anymore. USC and UCLA were founding members of the Pac-12, man, and they're out.
Yeah, Temple a while back was one of the founding members of the Big East, and they kicked their ass out.
Mm-hmm.
Back in, I guess it was the early 2000s or late 1990s.
Yeah.
Because I was arguing with a guy about that today, was talking about they wouldn't kick Vanderbilt or Mississippi State out of the SEC because they're grandfathered in and they were original members. I'm like, that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
They did it to Temple. They've done it to a lot of teams.
Right. Guys, I put the link in the chat again for anybody. I'll take one more. If somebody else wants to hop on with us, I'll take one more call in. It's 10:30 here, and I'm in a hotel, so I'm gonna have to be quiet here soon. Always belittling the Big 12. Yeah, look, Tony and I get along because he's helped me out some on my channel and stuff like that, and I'm a pretty loyal guy. But I've told him I disagree with a lot of things he's done and said. He knows that.
Who is this?
Tony Altamore.
Who is it? What does he represent?
He's basically an analyst. He's a USC grad.
Oh shit.
He's a
skittle shitter, man. You bedding up with a skittle shitter?
but he calls us 12 anon for making up conspiracy theories and all kinds of stuff about he's adamant that no PAC team is leaving, period.
Well,
so
what? His own team left. How's he gonna say that?
He means for the Big 12.
Oh, okay.
They're not leaving
Whatever.
because of the he's the academic.
Oh,
He's the guy that the guy that goes on Mark Rogers, and he's been on my show too, and has all the charts and graphs and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
That's him.
Well, they only be throwing shade at nobody. I don't know if nobody realizes this, but USC's been on probation more than any team in NCAA history. It's a fact. Look it up. NCAA.org.
Yeah, he called us. He actually said we were like rapists because we didn't know how to take no for an answer.
Okay.
We actually have Brent Venables coming on the show. No joke.
Who?
You ready, Brent Venables?
Right.
No, you don't.
Brent Venables is in the house.
Hey, this is not Brent Venables.
You sure?
Came on a phone call.
What?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Boomer Sooner.
Outlaw.
What's up,
This is
brother?
Chris from Tulsa.
Chris from what?
Hey, I was watching some other SEC podcast earlier, and they were talking about you.
Oh, really? That don't surprise me now. Not many people like me except Couz.
And so I told them all about you and your podcast. So you guys send me a hat or something.
You want a hat?
So what's your name?
Chris Lieberman.
Oh, Chris Lieberman. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
What's your screen name on YouTube?
Yeah. Huh?
What is your screen name on YouTube?
Oh, it's Chris in the 918.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it.
So what SEC podcast was running me down?
I don't know. Send me an email and I'll find it.
All right, I'm on email Jesse Clark 425@gmail.com.
Did you get that, Chris?
Yeah, but that's not my email.
No, he was giving you his email.
Oh, hold on. Okay, spell it again.
Jesse Clark 425@gmail.com.
Hold on, I'm writing it. JESSE425@gmail.
Yeah, Jesse Clark.
Okay, JESSE Clark
That's right.
@gmail.
Let me ask you this, Couz. Do you think the Big 12 is going to eventually actually go after some of the ACC schools? If, whatever the Big 10, the SEC don't pick off in about 3 or 4 years?
Probably so, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know exactly who they're going for. I was talking about it on that podcast. Florida State and Clemson. To be Florida State and Clemson, and then they're going to have to go to 9 games.
Yeah, they'll have to. They need to go to 9 games now. To be honest,
I know I wasn't too happy about that part, but yeah,
They really can't go 9 games because they just But they was talking about that there was more to it than just up and going 9 games. There was a lot of games they had to
Here's what I
reschedule.
suggested
A
on
lot
that
of games were
other
scheduled out for
podcast.
10 years.
Chris, I'm gonna bring. I got somebody else wanting to come on. I'm gonna let you go, man. I appreciate you coming on and supporting the channel.
All right. Send me a hat, Outlaw.
All right, brother.
Have fun. Drop me
Hey,
off.
good night.
Good night.
What's up, Robert? You there, Robert? Can you hear me? Hello. Robert must have lost internet or something.
Rocky Mountain High on some old country roads. What is that?
Yeah, if Colorado comes into the league, we'll have the John Denver trophy.
Y'all have the corner on some John Denver, boy.
Hey, and he's a Texas Tech alum.
Oh,
So
wow.
we would really have the John Denver.
I'll have the John Denver hookup.
That's right.
He'll be in high demand in the Big 12.
That's right.
He should make a country song called the Truck Stop Conference, right?
That's right, baby. By the way, for those of you who don't know, I actually made merch that says "Proud Member of the Truck Stop Conference." If y'all want
I
to,
like that shirt that you got. It's got the state of West Virginia on it.
yeah, it says West Virginia versus the world.
That's it. I need one of those that's got Alabama on it. Because
Yep.
I feel like it's Alabama versus the world since Kay Ivey signed that transgender law.
We have one too.
Awesome.
Our governor signed one too.
That's great, man.
He's running for U.S. Senate, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your governor?
Huh?
Couz has some colorful guests tonight. Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
USF got AAU status. Where will they go to a P5 conference? Nowhere anytime soon, I don't believe.
Everybody's got AAU status, man. That means they can join the Big 10, man. They're going to get Madrid Real. Madrid Real is going to join the Big 10, man. They're going to go into the soccer realm of things. So they got the AAU over in Spain now.
That's right. Alan Walker, another $5 super chat. Thank you, man. He says, Washington State University President Schultz basically opened his mouth the same time the Big 12 was in trouble 2 years ago. Now he's doing the same thing again at Washington State.
There you go.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying that, man.
Bunch of leaking haters. Just like Texas A&M tried to leak that shit, keep Texas and Oklahoma from leaving.
Yeah. All right. Well, Outlaw, I'm gonna jump off here. Like I said, I'm gonna get run out of this hotel probably if I don't. But everybody go check Outlaw out on YouTube, Outlaw of College Football. His channel's growing really rapidly. A very entertaining channel over there. Where else can they find you?
I'm also on Twitter at OCF Productions and of course on Facebook under Jesse Paul Clark. So yeah, and I also got a little membership on my channel as well, like you do, that where you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button and join the Outlaw Posse. It's actually doing rather well.
Yes, it is. You're
I'm
growing.
already up to, I guess, what is it, 13 or 14 members now.
You're going to catch me soon, man, if you haven't already.
I need to. I need the money.
Daniel Gigax throwing in a $4.99 super chat here at the last minute says, I'm thinking the Pac-12 is in more trouble than they want to say. There's no doubt about it, man, in my opinion. Now I could look, if I'm wrong, and I was arguing with Tide Guy about this on Twitter last night or yesterday or whenever, even into today. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong, but I just don't see how in the world anybody can look at this situation and think the Pac-12 is hunky-dory. I just don't see it. But
that's the problem with the Pac-12. They never went out and took the initiative on things, man. That's the problem. That's why they screwed themselves when they trusted Kevin Warren with the Big Ten when they made that loose-knit alliance and said they weren't going to rate each other's conferences, and then 2 years later the Big Ten takes their two main teams.
Yeah.
You can't tell me they didn't know about that, man.
Yeah.
There was something going on the whole time.
Salt of the earth says that Couz's corner. Sorry, Couz, you have AAU status.
That's right.
So I can get in the Big Ten now?
That's
All
right.
right.
Man. Anybody can go out and get AAU stats. Don't matter if you do any research. You can just be a Catholic school in South Bend, and your ass can get a certification, man.
Yeah, what a crock, man.
What are they researching, man?
Touchdown Jesus, I guess. I don't know.
How the Pope takes a bowel movement to Vatican? I mean, you tell me.
K-Do, $5 super chat. Thank you, man. He's a KU fan. He says there is absolutely no positive news coming from the PAC in the last 10 months. Bingo. Robert trying to get back on here. We had some technical difficulties earlier. Robert, you there?
Roberto.
Robert.
He's in the bathroom. Hurt and wipe, man. There you go. Wipe it.
Oh. What's up?
Live TV, man. Ain't nothing like it.
That's
Hey,
right.
guys.
What's up, Robert?
Sorry about that. Not much. When I heard Outlaw talk about the Temple thing, I know a little bit of information about that Temple thing because I was raised in Pennsylvania on
Okay.
that side of the state.
Let us know.
The reason why Temple was kicked out was because they were not a private institution. They were public.
Mhm.
Yeah, at one time they were private, but they became public. So that's the reason why when they moved over to that, they wanted all Catholics, pretty much they're Catholic schools, most of those ones. They were like, we want all privately funded schools, so we have all the power. Which that upset me because I love the rivalries that Temple had with Villanova and all the other schools that were in that conference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember the days of John Chaney at Temple. Man.
I definitely remember that too.
Basketball.
Oh
Good
yeah,
basketball.
definitely.
But Robert, let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you this. Temple got kicked out. West Virginia was still in, and we're not a private school.
Yeah, I think that was just phase one.
Wow, I just heard Temple wasn't performing well enough in most of the sports or something.
Right. That's what I heard too.
Yeah, that's another reason too. But also, you have to think their plan was probably to move to all private schools in the first place too. So
yeah, I do think they played a role in it. Yeah, I do think it. I just don't think it was the only factor.
Oh no, there was multiple factors, but not being private was one of the nails in them.
Gotcha.
Besides,
David
because I
Z,
was born on that side of the state, so I should know a little bit on that.
Right. Absolutely. No, I trust you. I trust you, man. I definitely do.
Philadelphia's
Yeah, even that one comment I said it when you were mentioning when you and Tide guy were arguing about how the Big East fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
Even what you liked what I said there, I was like, yeah, it's because mostly it was because they wanted the control to be privatized schools.
Yeah, he's trying to say that the Big East was a G5 conference.
I would say borderline G5, more Power 5 almost.
Well, I mean, we had a BCS bid. I mean, automatic BCS bid, to me, that was equivalent to a power at that time. I mean, Power 5 wasn't a thing yet, but it was that era's version of a Power 5.
A lot of people don't realize this, but Miami won their last national championship while they were in the Big East.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I mean, it was a Power 5 or a Power 6, however many conferences there were then.
Mm-hmm. And the Big East was real fun to watch every so often. I would, when I was younger, you would pop on a big, why don't we see what the Temple's doing? Click it on. Right. Sometimes you end up seeing, they're getting trashed by West Virginia or something. Okay, let's flip to the Penn State game.
Right. I'm sort of dating myself here, but I remember back in the 80s when it wasn't even the Big East, it was called the Eastern Independence. And that's when West Virginia had Major Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time I got me a dose of Don Nehlen, and he handed Penn State their ass on national TV, and I was all for that because I hated Penn State.
I'm from Pennsylvania. I know the feeling of the hatred because I hate freaking Ohio State with a passion. So, but that's a battle between two states in general, anyways.
So you're a
David
Penn
Z,
State
too.
fan?
Hmm?
You Penn State fan?
No, I'm a Florida State fan, but I'll still root for my home state.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's out of
Penn
respect.
State fans do take a bad rap because of all that crap that went down with Sandusky. But
Mhm.
for the most part, when they come down here to play Alabama, they're pretty good fans.
Oh yeah, we are pretty good people because of one reason. Most of the Penn State fans are from Eastern Pennsylvania, from my neck of the woods. They're pretty decent people. They're hardworking type of people. So if you respect them, they'll respect you right back. That's just how we
They're
are.
not like them crappy Western Pennsylvania people, are they? Like them.
Oh, the guys from Pittsburgh, yeah, they are so. We even hate them ourselves. It's like
I'm trying to give Couz something to laugh about.
Sorry, man. I'm reading comments over here. I got 2 super
Yeah.
chats I got to get to.
Oh, okay.
David Z, $2 super chat. Thank you, man. He says, much respect, Couz. Thanks for your work. Go Clones.
Mhm.
And then John Waffle H2P says Temple was kicked out in 2004.
Mhm. That's
Thank you for the
correct.
super chat, John. And he says the reason was because no one cared about Temple. That's why they were kicked out.
Oh, yeah, I can agree with that because Temple's basketball program went down the tubes too at the same time.
Yeah, once John Chaney left, man, that was it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that
It went
was
down
it.
the tubes, and they couldn't find anybody. It seems like they never did.
Well, they did have Bill Cosby as a alumnus, right?
He was a spokesperson. If I remember right, Cosby's son went to Temple University.
Mike Smith
That's
says
what-
Yinzers.
Oh God! Don't tell me about the Yinzers. No, thank you.
What is it? They get educated on that, man. That's an inside joke. I don't even know about
No,
that.
Yinzers are the term for Pittsburgh fans, Pittsburgh Steeler fans. That's what they call themselves because the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers is Yinzer.
What is it? Oh, his last name's Yinzer?
Yeah, it's something like that. But it's the nickname is they're a Yinzer.
They
John
like
Waffle
being called Yinzers?
I'm gonna Google what that means. John Waffle H2P $1.99 super chat. Did WV used to be called the Cobras? Not that I'm aware of. I'm sure you got a joke behind that somewhere, John.
Here it comes. Setting you up for a zinger there.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Mike explained it. Instead of saying you all, they say Ewans.
Ewans.
Yep.
Oh,
Or hey, you guys, depending on that's how you can tell the difference between the sides of the state.
Ewans.
Hey, you guys is from my side of the state, so
I'm gonna file that
it's very
away.
weird.
I'm gonna
Check
file
out
that
Larry
away
Pilgrim.
for a rainy day.
Check out Larry Pilgrim's comment, Outlaw. It says research money for roofies. Cosby sponsored.
Hell yeah, he did.
Oh yeah, that's why they tested it.
Oh, Lordy.
It'd be kind of hard because they have a dental college.
That wouldn't surprise me if Cosby was on that one of them Epstein Islanders.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Browns and Beer says Yinzer is more so a phrase about people from Pittsburgh. The Steelers
Yep,
owners
exactly.
are the Roonies. The Steelers owners are the Roonies.
Yeah, the Roonies. That's right. I
tell you
forget
what.
what it,
Tell you what, old Rudy grew up to be a pretty hot one, didn't she? On the Cosby Show.
Lord, I haven't seen her in a long time, honestly.
She was in some movies.
Yeah.
She was in what was it, Barber Shop or something with Queen Latifah or
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Raven Simone.
uh-huh.
Yeah, the youngest one. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. She's around my age.
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to jump off of here. Robert, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Oh, that's no problem, man. You know me.
So I'm gonna
Hey.
put you
I
What?
got an idea for a T-shirt for you, man.
what?
Oh no.
You get you one of them AAU shirts. Say I am AAU certified. That's-
No.
Oh man.
Everybody's
better
got
one.
AAU now, man. Everybody's getting it.
Hey, the other night I was doing a live stream with Numbskull News. I don't know if you know
Oh,
who he
God.
is or not.
I do.
And we were talking about that, and he said we're not AAU, we're GED.
wait. That's us. That's us. We're GED. Remember, Penn State used to be a farm school beforehand, before Joe Paterno came there.
That's
So I know that.
He said us guy, because he's a Big 12 guy too. He said we're not AAU, we're GED. I said, or CDL since they want to call us a truck stop conference.
Oh, I had coined for the PAC about being a bus stop conference. They're waiting for the ride to pick them up.
Oh, that's a good one.
Washington State and Oregon State want to be in the FCS.
They're looking for a cab. They're looking for an Uber ride.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can hook them up.
All right. Well, listen. All right. I've said 3 times I'm leaving. I'm actually leaving this time. Everybody, thank y'all for hopping on here. Thank you to my guests. Thanks to Outlaw. Go check him out on YouTube. Enjoy the live stream. Always enjoy the interactions. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for the likes. If you haven't hit the like, hit it on the way out. Good night, everybody. And Q Country Roads.
AAU.
GED.
Oh.